we're going to change the battery in an iPhone 7. Now, yeah, it's an older phone, but the idea behind changing the battery has not changed in almost every model. It's pretty much the basics are the same. iPhones are held together with screws, unlike iPads. Not totally, just two. And they're at the bottom, and they're right here. There's two of them. So you always have to get those out first before you do anything. These are the hold down. Basically, the screen goes in, comes down, and that's how it's held into place. Unlike an iPad, which is completely held in place with glue. You always want to check on these phones and make sure that it's the battery. This one is 70% capacity and says service, so we know that's it. Alright, so get a little heat going. It makes it a lot easier. Some of the new tools that Apple has is giving, or not giving out, but is letting you buy are pretty handy. I'm going to be getting the tray just because it has the suction cup that holds the top of the phone while you're working on the bottom, which I think is pretty handy. So I'll be ordering that piece from Apple. Just want to get it a little warm, just so that it comes apart easier. You know, when I first started doing this, I was using these things to get into the phone. I don't do that anymore. You just end up scratching the side bezel, and it looks terrible. The only time I'll use those is just to use it as a lever. That's pretty hot, so that's good enough. Get down as low as possible so I can pull the bottom up. There it goes, it's starting to go. I don't want to crack it, so I'll use this now just for leverage. There we go, that's it. Because before it wasn't for leverage. Yeah, you were getting in there trying to get down, and you were just scratching the heck out of this piece. So you just want to kind of pull up. Just provide a little bit of leverage, a little bit at a time. You don't want to go crazy, you don't want to crack the screen. And once you get it like this, you want to wiggle it so the top can come down. There you go. iPhones 7 and up all open this way. iPhones 6s and back, all the connections are up here, and you open it this way. So you're going to have this goop here, and we're going to take apart this right here. Is the hold down for the battery and the display and the touch. That's the Y. Always get yourself some good tools. The ones that they give you are cheap. If you buy a kit, these screws will strip the screwdrivers on those cheap ones, which tells you that the metal from the screw is a better quality metal than the screwdrivers that they're giving you. You can buy individual pieces like this for $6, $7. Always make sure that you put these in order so that you put the same screw back in the same place that it came from, because they're not all the same size. If you put a long screw in the wrong spot, you will go straight through to the logic board and damage the logic board. So you put your phone back together and it starts boot looping, and that's probably why. Alright, so that. Let's release the screen after we get the battery out, of course. Never disconnect the screen while the battery is still connected. Never reconnect the screen while the battery is connected. I'll get into why later. It's actually a good reason. You will blow the backlight circuit on these things. Why would you blow a backlight circuit? By disconnecting the screen. Well, this is a circuit, and you got a certain amount of voltage and current going through, and it's all calculated. The screen is part of that circuit. Battery's still connected. You take the screen out, you're taking resistance out. Now all of a sudden you're shocking the system because there's more voltage, more current going through, and it pops the backlight circuit. So now we got to get the battery out. If you're not familiar, these things are held in with the same things that you buy that hang up picture frames without a nail, and that little white tab that you pull and pull. Well, that's what you got here. But you need to get this obstruction out of the way so that you can pull it and it's not going over, because it'll rip. You don't want to rip those things, because then you got to start sticking stuff underneath the battery, and that's not good. I kind of hope that happens here, because that way they'll give me a chance to show everybody the right way of getting around that. If you have to get under a battery to loosen it, what you want to do is you want to use some kind of a solvent, like Goo Gone or any solvent that they give you for battery stuff. I save that stuff if I get it. And you get under it with a spudger, something as flat as possible, so you can kind of get under there and dislodge the adhesive. Now, on the iPhone 7, you can't take the taptic engine out because it's connected. You need to take this speaker hold down out. 2 screws. And again, I'm always putting my screws in order. It may not seem like it. I know what order they're in. I've got my own little system of. If you have access to numbered pads, some of these pads they have, like, numbers on in a square. Those are great. All right, so I'm gonna put my magnifying glass on, and we need to lift up on the taptic engine connector. That's it. Get that bugger out of there. Now we got everything out of the way so that we can take our adhesive out. Alright, so these little folds here, you just basically need to get underneath them, and just as you pull down, you'll see the white part is the adhesive, and I'm just scraping it down, that's all. Alright, so let's get a pair of tweezers so we can get it started. Remember what I said about I hope this breaks? I take that back. I don't want it to break. Alright. Let me try to get my fingers out of the way so I can show you what's going on. I'm pulling on this. Kind of hard to do this and make a video at the same time. I feel for those. Alright, So I got my finger, I'm holding down just for tension. And if you can hear it going, that's great. That's what you want. You just pull. Keep pulling. There you go. That's it. We didn't get any sound effects. My sound effects were better than this stuff is. You know, what I'm doing is a no-no. You really shouldn't use a sharp object around the battery because you sure don't want to puncture it. Alright. As you can see, I got it again. Starting to cut a little bit, so I'm going to grab a little lower. There we go. That's it. That's all that's holding it down. There's a couple strips of adhesive. And I just remembered that I forgot to grab the adhesive for the next battery. There's a really easy way to do this and a really hard way to do it. I like to do it the easy way. There's the bottom of the battery, there's the top of the battery. Okay, great. You've got two layers on this adhesive. You have blue and you have purple. You pull the blue up first, not from this end. This is the finishing end. It's always from the tip. So we're going to pull the blue side down. This is what the battery is going to go on top of. So now we take the bottom of the battery, we position it right over these little things so that we can fold these up over just like it was when it was new. Take that, put it down, and use your fingernail, kind of get it going in there so it sticks good. Now you peel the pink off. Yep, not good enough. Just keep going so that, there you go. Now, you want to position the battery just right. And there you go. Make sure it can connect, which you can. We're good. Now, easiest way to get those little tabs up is to use your little pointy tweezers. There's a little hole there in the blue plastic. You just kind of pull it off. I'm putting it right in the hole, pulling it off. There you go. Then you just push it up and push it over. And you could probably use a spudger better for this part. Push it up. Push it over. Just like factory. Alright. Let's get our Taptic engine back in. Taptic engine. On the newer phones, the 8s and up, you gotta take a little L piece off, and there's a bunch of connections on this side and what's called an offset screw. Not fun. These are a lot easier. Alright, so we've got to reconnect the flex cable for the Taptic engine. That's in. Very good. And remember, we took the little hold down piece out. We're going to put that back in. You know who makes really good guides for these is iFixit. But it's nice to watch a video. And see the pictures from a guide. And if you're doing this for the first time, you know, actually an iPhone 7 was the very first phone I worked on. I'm very thankful that I had someone who trusted me to let me work on their phone. so that I could do that before working on customers' phones. There you got 2 screws off on the left side. Squeaky screwdriver. And 1 on the right. The iPhone 7 is a very straightforward phone to work on. Alright, remember, we're going to connect this screen first, then the battery. Oh, I love the sound of that click. There you go. Now, battery. Battery, perfect. Alright. Let's fire it up. Ah, wonderful. And the job is done. No, I'm just kidding. We're putting the phone together finally. See how you got the little tabs there at the top? Alright, we're going to push the tabs in and then bring the phone down. And we'll start it up again before we... And that is how you put a battery in an iPhone 7. Thanks for watching. And please like and subscribe. Get this ball rolling. I'm still having problems with the Touch ID, but I'm not going to keep going on the video. I'll delve into that and find out from the customer if he had that problem before too. Alright, thank you.